What if extinction was not the end, but only a long silence? What if some animals we believed were gone forever were still alive, breathing quietly while the world stopped paying attention? Imagine scientists closing the final chapter on a species, only to realize years later that the story was never truly finished. Today, we are exploring animals that shocked the world by coming back from extinction. These lost species were written off, forgotten, and then suddenly rediscovered. Stay with me until the end, because these stories prove that nature does not give up easily. Our journey begins on a steep and rocky island called La Palma, near Spain. For many years, the La Palma giant lizard was believed to be completely extinct. Scientists only had bones and old records to prove it ever existed. People believed it vanished because of hunting and changes to the land caused by humans. Over time, the lizard became nothing more than a forgotten name in science books. Then, local people began reporting sightings of large, dark lizards moving quietly along cliffs and rocky walls. At first, these stories were ignored, but when researchers finally explored the area, they found living La Palma giant lizards. Small groups had survived by staying far from people and living in places that were almost impossible to reach. This discovery reminded scientists that survival does not always need attention to succeed. Next, we travel to the Galapagos Islands, a place known for strange and rare animals. Here, the Fernandina giant tortoise was believed extinct for more than 100 years. No living tortoise had been seen since early explorers passed through the island. Many believed hunting and volcanic activity wiped it out completely. Then, during a research mission, scientists spotted a massive tortoise walking slowly across dark volcanic ground. It was alive. This single female tortoise proved the species had survived in isolation for decades. The discovery brought worldwide attention and renewed hope that more tortoises might still exist. It also showed how remote places can protect life when humans are not present. Now we move to Australia, where one of the greatest wildlife mysteries ever recorded finally had an answer. The night parrot was known as a ghost bird. For decades, no one had seen one alive. It existed only in old drawings, museum samples, and stories passed down by bird watchers. Many experts believed it was extinct, while others refused to give up hope. The problem was that the night parrot lives in harsh desert areas and only comes out after dark. Then, one night, a strange bird call was recorded in a remote region. Later, a blurry photograph appeared. The night parrot was alive. Further studies showed it survived by hiding in thick grass, flying low, and avoiding human noise. Its quiet nature protected it for years. This rediscovery shocked the scientific world and reminded everyone that some animals survive by becoming invisible. Deep beneath the ocean, another impossible return waited in silence. The coelacanth is a strange-looking fish that scientists believed went extinct millions of years ago. It was known only from fossils older than humans. Then one day, a fisherman caught a bluefish near Africa that looked ancient and unfamiliar. Scientists examined it and confirmed the impossible. The coelacanth was alive. This fish survived by living deep underwater, where sunlight barely reaches and humans rarely explore. Its rediscovery changed how scientists understand extinction and proved that ancient life can still exist today. Back on land in North America, the black-footed ferret tells a story of near disappearance and careful rescue. This small animal once lived across wide grasslands, hunting at night and hiding underground during the day. Habitat loss, hunting, and disease pushed it close to extinction. For years, no ferrets were seen, and the species was declared extinct in the wild. Then, a small population was discovered living near prairie dog colonies. These ferrets depended on prairie dogs for food and shelter, which made them extremely vulnerable. Conservation teams acted quickly. Breeding programs began, and the ferrets were protected and slowly reintroduced into the wild. Today, the black-footed ferret still faces danger, but it exists again because humans chose to act before it was too late. In New Zealand, the takahe tells a story of quiet strength. This large, colourful bird cannot fly and was believed extinct for more than 50 years. Scientists assumed predators had wiped it out completely. Then explorers found a small group living deep in the mountains. The takahe had survived in cold, isolated areas where humans rarely traveled. It fed quietly and avoided danger. Its rediscovery became a symbol of hope for conservation efforts around the world and showed that isolation can sometimes save a species. In Africa, a very small animal made a very big return. The Somali elephant shrew had not been seen for decades. Many believed it was extinct because of habitat loss and lack of sightings. During a wildlife survey, researchers spotted a tiny, fast creature running across rocky ground. Cameras confirmed it was the Somali elephant shrew. This rediscovery proved that small animals can disappear from records without actually being gone. It reminded scientists that extinction lists are not always final. Some animals did not hide. They survived because people chose to protect them. The peregrine falcon once faced serious danger due to chemicals that weakened its eggs. Its population dropped quickly and extinction felt close. Laws were passed to ban harmful chemicals and conservation groups stepped in. Slowly, peregrine falcons returned to the skies. Today, they soar over cliffs and cities faster than any other bird. Their comeback shows how human choices can change the future. Along the coastlines, the sea otter tells one of the most powerful comeback stories of all. Sea otters were hunted heavily for their thick fur, which was highly valued. Their numbers dropped so low that extinction seemed certain. When sea otters disappeared, the ocean ecosystem suffered. Sea urchins spread rapidly and destroyed underwater forests. Protection laws allowed sea otters to return slowly. As their numbers grew, balance returned to the ocean. Today, sea otters float peacefully, using stones to crack shells while resting on the water. Their return proves that one species can heal an entire ecosystem. As these stories show, extinction is not always a straight path from life to disappearance. Sometimes, it is a long pause filled with silence and waiting. Many of these animals survived because they lived in places humans rarely visited or because they learned to avoid danger quietly. Others survived because people stepped in at the last moment and chose protection over profit. Each rediscovery forced scientists to admit something important. Nature is still full of secrets, and humans do not always know as much as they think. Every rediscovery is both a miracle and a warning. Our final story takes us to the deserts of the Middle East. The Arabian oryx was once extinct in the wild. Only a few survived in protected areas. Through careful breeding programs, the oryx was reintroduced to its natural habitat. Today, it walks freely across desert lands once again. Its return stands as one of the greatest conservation successes ever recorded. These animals were once declared gone forever. Their stories were closed and their names were written into extinction lists. And yet, they survived. Some hid in silence. Some waited in distant places. Some returned because people chose to protect them. These lost species remind us that extinction is not always the end. It is a warning and a lesson. If you enjoyed this journey of survival and second chances, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay curious. Because the next lost species might already be waiting to be found.